Right, guys. Eddie Howe is being rumoured to be Newcastle's new manager. Uh, so the manager who's going to try and stop them from being relegated this season so that they can go out and spend some money and try and improve the squad for next season. And I think it's a bit of a risky move. It could really work or it could go horribly wrong. I don't think there's an in between really, because the way like Eddie Howe, he's not a manager who likes to play awful football. His Bournemouth side played good football, and there are a couple of players in this Newcastle side who we did have at Bournemouth in Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson, and they played really well at Bournemouth. In fact, part of the reason Bournemouth possibly did get relegated was due to Ryan Fraser basically stinking the place out in his final season with Bournemouth because he refused to play basically. And yeah, that's partly why it went like wrong for Bournemouth in the final season. Him and Josh King all as well. Josh King didn't really shake a leg in that final season as much as he usually did. But I think it could potentially work but I think if Newcastle do get relegated, I think they've got to stick with Eddie Howe if they do get relegated, because there's no point otherwise. Because Eddie Howe is good at he's got experience in the Championship with Bournemouth, and he knows how to get a team promoted in the Football League. And I think obviously he's done that a few times with Bournemouth. He got Bournemouth promoted to League One from League Two, and he also, a lot of people forget, he saved Bournemouth back in 2009 from being relegated out of the Football League into the Conference. And they were in a really bad position when he took over. So, could he do that again in the Premier League? I mean, it's a much more difficult task in the Premier League. But you never know, really. I think he could. Because it's still very early on in the season. We're 10 games in. Newcastle are a side who the past couple of seasons haven't actually been ridiculously close to being relegated. They haven't been in a final day of the season dogfight or anything like that. Like Steve Bruce, as bad as the football's been at times, I actually don't think Steve Bruce did that bad a job. He kept them up for 2 seasons, a very average side, by the way. And there was he did it with a couple of games to spare both times, if I remember correctly. So I don't think all hope is lost for Eddie Howe if he did go to Newcastle. I think he could keep them up this season. He's also got the transfer market, so I think that the owners have got to listen to him and what he would want to be brought in January. I think he also is good at building a side and can recognise recognise good young talent. There were quite a few players at Bournemouth who he did sign at a young age and played well for Bournemouth. David Brooks obviously is. It's quite sad what's happening at the moment with him, but when they signed him, he had a really good first season in the Premier League in 2018, I think it was. Then he got injured for the year they got relegated. So, there were a lot of problems this season. Bournemouth got relegated that were sort of out of Eddie Howe's hands. And I really think it could work. a lot of people think that Eddie Howe he's too nice at manager, sort of. But you've got to remember when Arsene Wenger left Arsenal in 2018, it was between Eddie Howe and Unai Emery, I think, for who was going to replace Wenger at Arsenal. And obviously they went for Emery, and Newcastle apparently have tried to go for Emery this time round as well over Eddie Howe. Bit of a coincidence there. But I think Eddie Howe could do a good job at Newcastle if he's given time, and if it does go like more of the same this season, if they need to keep him on next season, even if Newcastle do get relegated. That's just what I think anyway. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.